All right. Think we're good? All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to our wellness webinar, hosted every Sunday and Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. I'm your host, Aruj, and before I begin, I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about TarbiyaLive, which is our new online platform. TarbiyaLive is a brand new program geared toward offering all of our services online. We're currently offering Quran Teen, which is a 15-minute Quran recitation by one of Tarbiya's imams, followed by a khatra, as well as Friday spiritual talks, tafsira online, and Sunnah session online as well. Please stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be adding a lot of new content and programming, especially geared towards children. So please stay tuned for updates. Today, I'd like to introduce you all to a special guest, Brother Josh Rahbar. Brother Josh is a project manager with lifestyle medicine at Kaiser Permanente. He's a CDC recognized lifestyle coach and has years of experience facilitating classes for both adults and children surrounding challenges around weight management, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes. Welcome, Brother Josh. Could you tell us a little bit about lifestyle medicine?
Yeah, so lifestyle medicine is a practice of using a person's lifestyle to prevent and reverse chronic conditions. And this is achieved through healthy eating, getting active, having positive social connections, stress management, better sleep. And all of this is really powerful because what we're seeing is that people can actually improve their overall health, sometimes even reducing medications altogether.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So as you're a health educator, right? That's like what you do. Could you tell us the challenges we're currently facing with being active and being stuck in the house?
Yeah, so right now what we've done is we've moved all our classes online, and we're basically holding all of these, just like what we're doing here virtually. And I'm touching base with a lot of folks, and I'm in the same position as they are. You're in the same position. We all feel it with the shelter in place.
Right.
But what's happened is, our routine has been basically flipped upside down, right?
Yeah.
Where we were used to being able to go to the gym, that's now closed, rightfully so. We had our opportunities to meet up and work out with our friends, but that's not an option. So the accountability is lost. We're seeing a complete different look in our lifestyle routine.
For sure, for sure. So before we talk about how to go, how to face these challenges and how to find ways around them, could you just talk a little bit about exercise? What is exercise? Is it just any kind of physical movement? I'm working from home 8 to 5 at my desk. I constantly take breaks to go get water. I kind of count that as exercise just because I don't know what else to do. Does that count? And along with the exercise, how long does it take for it to help improve our mood or just feel better in general?
So taking breaks to go get water in the middle of your day, that's a great lifestyle activity. That's great to break up the monotony of sitting down for too long, right? But when I hear exercise, what I really think of is there's this negative connotation around it. I kind of think of like, all right, I have to go at the end of my really long day. It's really exhausting. I get on the treadmill or the dreadmill, like what I like to call it. It's not really exciting. But really, what it boils down to, exercise is just movement. It's activity. It's how can I get myself to move and minimize my sitting down all day.
Right.
So really, whatever you can do to just get moving counts. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about to what degree to get those different health benefits. The idea behind all of it is just get moving.
Okay, so if it's just about getting moving, does that mean that all the exercise that we put into going to the gym and like the hours that we spend working out, and then realizing that, hey, we don't really feel any different, we haven't been losing any weight, I don't feel any stronger, like how do we get around that? Are there other benefits to exercise that we're not seeing?
Yeah, that's a good point. So a lot of folks usually kind of make that connection with exercise being a tool for weight management.
Right.
But that's not the only benefit that we see. I mean, there's a whole long list, which I like to call non-scale victories, and those are the reasons for why we exercise that don't necessarily reflect on the scale.
Could you just talk about what does that mean, non-scale victories?
Yeah, non-scale victories. So non-scale victories would be things that might, you decrease joint pain because you're moving and you're getting the blood flowing, or improve brain health and ability to improve your mood due to stress management. Blood sugars improve. You decrease fatigue. Your strength increases. That doesn't have anything to do with your weight if you get stronger. So those would all be what we call non-scale victories.
And is that because we don't have to step on a scale to see them?
Exactly. You don't step on the scale to see it, but they're all the right reasons for why we should be moving nonetheless.
Okay. So one of the questions that, if we're exercising and we are doing enough when all this self quarantine wasn't in place, and now like the only exercise I can get in is that little bit that I'm doing, is it even worth doing that small amount?
Absolutely. So even if you have just a few minutes in your day, finding an opportunity to move just a little bit is going to give you a lot of health improvements. One study even suggests that even with after 10 minutes of physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
they saw that their participants had decreased their blood pressure.
Oh,
So that
wow.
was only over 10 minutes, right? And,
Right,
and the
right.
longer you go, or the faster you go, or the harder you go, you'll see those improvements.
Okay. So a little earlier you talked about the benefits besides non-scale or the non-scale victories,
Mhm.
and you talked about how it improves your mood. Can exercise be used as a way to manage the stress that we're all feeling currently?
Yeah. So the thing with exercise is it's a perfect cocktail, right? So
Hmm.
it's a perfect cocktail of a lot of feel good hormones, and it helps release serotonin, helps release endorphins, dopamine. All of that's going to help improve your mood, kind of pick you up. Not
Okay.
to mention when you're physically active, you also get a neuroepinephrine also is released, and
Okay.
that has a lot to do with feeling motivated.
Right.
So when you talk about kind of the drag that we're in right now,
Hmm.
getting that perfect cocktail is going to be something that's going to be able to pick us up a little bit.
Okay. So if the small things that we do at our desk or just getting up and doing the regular things around the house, that may be enough a little bit, but is there anything that we can do more at home? So like what are ways that we can work out at home since we can't go to the gym, we don't have super fancy equipment?
Mhm.
How can we work around that?
That's a good question. So, you know, you really don't need all that fancy equipment to have an effective exercise routine. So,
Hmm.
I like to break this down into basically four key movements.
Okay.
So, if you want to tone at home, as I would say,
Hmm.
really you're trying to look at a movement around each of these ones that I'll share here. So, for example, you want to push, right? Some type of
Right.
push movement. So, a push up is a classic example, being able to do that at home. You want a pull movement. That could be anything from like a pull up. If you have a pull up bar, usually a lot of folks have those hanging in their doorways, right? We probably
Right.
never use them. Uh, and or you could pull like an arm curl with like a can or a milk jug or whatever it might be.
Okay.
So push, pull, find a core. A core is pretty easy to do too. A plank is a classic one.
Okay.
A chair, a wall sit. If you're sitting on a chair on the wall, right, doing wall
Right.
sit. And then lastly, you want to think of how to do like a squat, right? So anything that you can step up on a chair, you can do a chair squat, just like in your desk that we're sitting in right now. Get
Oh,
up
so
and down a little bit.
you're saying that if I just got off my chair, sat back down, got off my chair, sat back down, that would count?
That's an effective exercise. That's an
Oh,
effective
wow.
that's effective movement. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay,
So yeah,
so
a push, a pull, a core, and a squat. Think of those at home and what you can use in your environment
mhm,
to be able to do those, and that would be effective
very,
without
very
the
cool.
major equipment.
Yeah. Okay. So now there's also okay. So parents need to get their exercise in, but children also need to be active, and obviously they can't go out, they can't play with other kids. So what
Mhm.
can parents do at home to get their kids working out?
So, if you want to get your kids moving with you and get them kind of away from watching the TV or watching
Mhm.
Netflix or their iPads while they're stuck at home, there's a lot of things that we can do to get our kids moving. It takes a little bit of creativity, but the easiest one is going to be just a family walk.
Right.
I have a 3-year-old, and we just got her a scooter, and she's learning, she's picking up on it. But I have a scooter too, so we'll go out together and just kind of scooter around the neighborhood, and that's helping me out and helping her out.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and you can have more fun if you're thinking of just being indoors. You can do like balloon volleyball, right? Just blow up a balloon, hit it back
Yeah.
and forth
Yeah.
for 15-20 minutes, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Jump rope, hot lava. That's a fun game. Kids love it. Pillow
Yes.
fights. I mean, the list really goes on. You can do all kinds of stuff. And if you have a big family, you're in an advantage right here. because you can split the teams up and you guys can go out and play a game of basketball or volleyball or soccer or
Right.
whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be an effective way to do it together as a family.
Okay, those are really, really good ideas, actually. So now you've gotten the kids to work out, but you don't necessarily work out to the extent that you would if you're working out on your own. So how can parents find the time, and what can they do to get their own exercise in?
I can resonate with this one personally because I had a solid routine that I was doing at the beginning of the year, and I feel like all of us that maybe started our New Year's resolution with being more active,
Right.
We were on a streak, and here we are at the end of the third month, right? And that's been put to a halt because there's not any more access
Right.
to what we were doing before. So finding a way to still get that nice intensity that you were used to doing without, say, your kids kind of slowing down your pace will require you to, do a couple things. One, I would look at, the time when the kids sleep. That's the best time to do something.
Right. Right.
It might be where you get up a little bit earlier, knowing that the kids sleep in, just a tad bit later. You get up an extra half hour so that you can take that break away from them. So you can do your whole routine on your own. Go for that jog outside or whatever it might be.
Right.
If you have ones that take naps, then nap time is the time to really take advantage of that. Get outside or do your routine in the house if you can. And instead of doing things that you might do that could be done in their company, like fold laundry, right? I know a lot of times,
Right.
okay,
Right.
kids asleep, I'm doing laundry, I'm going to just fold this right now. But they could do that kind of while you're sitting in front of them, right?
That's
So
true.
nap times and just taking advantage of that time they're sleeping, those would be the best approaches to really stick with it with your personal routine.
So I actually had asked a couple of my friends what they would want to hear from you. And one of them, the question she asked me, I kind of took it as a joke, but then I realized that she might have not been joking. Um, can you burn calories from sleep? Because I mean, we've all heard that, hey, if I work out really intensely one day, then I'll be kind of burning calories throughout the next couple of days. And I mean, sleep is also within that time period. So is that actually true?
That's that to an extent, yes, and that would be nice if we could get our workouts worth while we sleep, right?
Right.
Metabolism is a 24-hour process. When you're sleeping, if you wear like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or any type of these wearables, it's going to say you burned X amount of calories while sleeping because that's
Right.
just a normal physiological process. We have to use energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I think your friend might be trying to get away with this is what we call EPOC, or excess post oxygen consumption.
Okay.
Just a fancy word for saying that I will burn more calories later on after my intense workout's over. So, take for example, anything that you do like a circuit training or something that's high intensity that gets your heart rate up really well, or a lot of strength training that will invoke EPOC. But it's not enough to allow yourself to give a pass for the rest of your day if you're going to, like, say, eat your calories worth.
Okay.
So the extra burn counts. Think of it like a blender, right? You turn off, you hit the off button, but the blender
Right.
is a little bit,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But don't put all your eggs in that basket to burn extra loads and kind of do what you want. Eat your snacks worth of your quarantine snacks worth, and
I
one weekend because of it, right?
think you just broke all of our hearts. So, I mean, how much do I exercise if I do want to eat whatever I want to eat? Like if I want to just break even or, cover whatever I did snack on.
So I usually tell folks that you can't outrun the fork. I mean, it is literally impossible to really out eat or outwork out what you eat. Like, take for example, like a Costco pizza.
Mm-hmm.
One slice of that's like 750 calories.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
One little sample of sweet candy, I kid you not, if you go in and you get that free sample, right? There's anywhere between 85 to 100 calories in that little nugget that they're giving
Oh
you.
my goodness.
So if you compare that to the effort it takes to burn, if you just jog a mile, you're burning roughly about 100 calories, maybe 110, 115, 120.
Right.
But that's equivalent to just eating that extra little snack. So I look at activity as something that you're going to do to improve your health for all those non-scale victories we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely helps with weight management, but try not to work out beyond what you're trying to eat. You're gonna have a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, I mean, a 1 mile jog is no joke. Like after doing a mile, I would think that I could eat whatever I want for the rest of the day.
That's a good point, but that's not the case, and a lot of folks plateau themselves because of that.
Oh, that's really good to know because I feel like that's what happens a lot of times is that people give up working out because they get frustrated because they're at a plateau and you don't often realize what the cause for that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so could you actually give us a couple of short or quick exercises that we can do during that long period of sitting that we do during the day?
So again, I know everyone's routines are just totally thrown off. If you're working from home, which I think many of us are,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just now stuck at home and you're not working, but you're caring for your family, again, you're still stuck at home. So how do we break up this monotony, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can do a variety of different things. One, I would say you got to really arrange your world for success. So how can your environment be set up in a way that's going to promote movement, right? Forget the
Right.
word exercise. Just how are you going to provoke movement?
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example. I bought in the first week, as I said, I was on this really good gym streak, and it was a hard pill to swallow. But my wife was telling me, Josh, you shouldn't go to the gym. That's like ground zero for all this type of stuff. And
Yeah, for sure.
she's right, right? She was right. And so I stopped going to the gym and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to keep this up. Like, this is really slacking now. So I went
Mm-hmm.
and got a bike, and I just bought something really inexpensive, just got a little recumbent bike, and I put it in my living room. And then the next week I went remote and I was working from home. And my idea was, okay, I'm going to ride my bike while I'm doing these meetings and teaching my classes or whatever it's going to be, right?
Right, right.
But my bike was in the living room when I was kind of stuck in one of our other bedrooms to be able to use it. So I
Right.
couldn't, they're in two different places, and I couldn't be in a room where the bike was because the baby was out there. And so what I had to do was think about, well, how's my environment can be set up so I could do it. So I had to clear out a bedroom, put the bike in there, make it kind of like my little office space, so that now
Wow.
this week I can use it without finding that to not be a hindrance
Right.
for the folks that's in my house. So you got to think about how you can arrange your world to make that possible.
Okay.
There are a few other things too. So think about, taking an inventory of, how sedentary you are throughout the day as well, and you might be able to find time. So if you're always, stuck in a certain call or a certain meeting or this thing I can do, I can kind of walk and talk and do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then make those your opportunities to break up that sedentariness, and that'll help break it up and get you moving a little bit more.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is the four, I think it was push, pull, core, and what was the fourth one?
Squat.
Squat. So those kind of things we can do even, as we take a break during our sedentary day, right? And then put in those exercises and then just do the basic stuff that we already know how to do, like maybe jumping jacks as well, something like that. Okay, so this is all really good stuff. And I'm really hoping that, after seeing this webinar, that people realize that it's actually not as hard as to exercise as we generally think it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we close the program, is there anything that you would like the viewers to leave with? Any final thoughts or pieces of advice?
I think about exercise as movement. Again, it's just activity, and the whole purpose of it is to just break up being sedentary. That's all the benefits are seen in that.
Mm-hmm.
So approach it in your day with finding a way to just decrease being sedentary, decrease sitting down.
Okay.
There are a lot of health benefits to exercising aside from weight management. So
Right.
do this for all the other reasons as well. Like I said, those non-scale victories. And lastly, if you're really trying to change it up, especially during the chaos of kind of what we're experiencing with the news and this enticing of just kind of sitting down and watching it on the couch and
Yeah.
whatever it might be now because we're at home. You really got to think of a routine that's going to get you more excited than anything else that is kind of taking your attention at this moment. So if it's your favorite Netflix show that you're watching right now, going on the treadmill in the guest bedroom that's been sitting in there for years and you've never been on it before, is probably not going to be the thing that gets you off the couch watching your Netflix, right?
Of course, right.
But if you really enjoy maybe playing soccer, and you got a kid that's going to go into the backyard with you and run around with, then make that your thing. Or if you really enjoy jogging outside or whatever it is, then just make sure that new behavior is going to be far more exciting than the old one, and that'll help break this routine of being stuck sitting down at home, because we are fighting against the excitement of hearing what's next in the news, right?
Yeah.
As the excitement of the TV and just kind of overall just relaxing. It's got to be more fun.
Do you have any tips for people who, I mean, there are so many people who don't exercise regularly, and but they made up for it by, their daily life of going out and doing whatever they did. Now these same people are going to be stuck at home and they don't have a habit of working out. They don't have anything that they do that's related to physical activity. Are there any tips or advice you can give to them to kind of get started and motivate themselves?
Yeah, so there's a lot of resources that are coming out right now. I think the silver lining behind this pandemic is that a lot of resources are going online for free. Um,
Right.
so you can explore. There's a website called Fitbod.me. It's an app. I
Okay.
have quite a few friends that have used it. I haven't explored it yet, but they've said that they've been able to kind of program what they have and build a routine out of it, and it's been helpful.
Okay.
So that's a good one. There's for our older population, folks that are 65 and up, Silver Sneakers. They're a great organization that encourages movement amongst that age group. So there's a lot of age appropriate physical activity movements that you can do, and it's free.
Hmm.
It's on Facebook. You don't even have to have an account.
Oh,
Just log
awesome.
in and link.
Okay.
Um, and then other places like Peloton, they do more than just bikes, but they have different physical activity routines online as well that you can follow along with. So there's a ton of resources out there to just get yourself moving again.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us for our wellness webinar today with Brother Josh. Don't forget to catch us tonight at 7:30 p.m. with one of our Tarbiya Institute imams for Quran Teen. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallahu khair.